Dan, I wanted to ask you about the Davante Adams situation because it's a weird limbo that the Packers find themselves in right now, and that Davante Adams finds himself in, because he didn't sign the extension last year. He's going to get franchise tagged sometime in the next 5 to 6 days before the deadline passes. And it's almost as if Rodgers' situation will help dictate what his situation will be, because we kind of figure out what direction the Packers are going. So what do you make of the situation with Davante Adams, and what does the timeline look like for a resolution when it comes to Adams?
It's a tricky one. It really is, because if you look at the track record for this front office with Brian Gutekunst, every time that they've worked on making a deal for a player to keep them around, they've made it work. Last year, we saw talks with Aaron Jones get cut off early on in the season. Aaron Jones played out the rest of his season, and people thought this is the end. This is the last season we're going to see of Aaron Jones. And then in early part of the offseason, they re-signed him to another deal. And it feels like that's the precedent for Davante Adams, is that they want to work on a deal with him. They want to get a deal done. Like you said, they need to franchise tag him. I think that's part of the cap space gymnastics that they've been having to kind of work over the last couple of days. But I don't think necessarily that the Davante Adams contract directly affects what Aaron Rodgers will do, but I do think Aaron Rodgers' decision will affect what Davante Adams wants to do. I think there is a little bit of Aaron Rodgers wanting to wait and see what happens with Davante, but I think that if they come to just a gentleman understanding of Davante Adams is arguably the best wide receiver in the league, and he needs to go get his bag somewhere else. And I think they would probably come to that agreement. If Aaron Rodgers wants to come back for one more year, I think he does. I think it's just very tricky, though, this one. I talked about the president, but this one is just very unique because, like you said, the cap space is hard to get there before the new league year starts with a franchise tag. And then also, when you look at the rest of the team, they have the highest paid left tackle, they have the highest paid defensive lineman, and they have Jair Alexander, cornerback, who most likely will want to demand highest paid cornerback money. How long can you build a team with 3 or 4 of the highest paid people at their position and still be competitive around everywhere else? Davante Adams is on the back end of his career. He's definitely still in his prime, but he's trending downwards in terms of his time, not his talent, but his time. And so it really feels like this is a time for the Packers to cut their losses, cut bait, move on, develop more talent. It forces the rest of your team to step it up a little bit, some of that talent. And so for me, I think that we see either Davante Adams walks into free agency, or the Packers somehow franchise tag him in an attempt to hopefully get a new deal done. And if not, look to sign and trade, that kind of thing. I think most likely I would say he walks in free agency is probably the most likely scenario, just because there's just way too many gymnastics to figure out with his contract.